I'm Katrina, this is Tare, and let's talk about the elephant in the room that is this humongous peach tree. Look how high it is. Look how high that is. So, this peach tree is a desert gold. There's also a bonita, which this one is massively overshadowing. And let's talk about appropriate peach care and appropriate, just peach care. So, as you guys know, this year, and quite frankly last year, been so busy for me. I have not been doing everything I should. One thing that got missed was this peach tree. The other peach tree got pruned, but this peach tree did not. And for peaches, you want to prune in the summer. A lot of times in the past, people have recommended in the winter, and we're finding that well, I have been told that people have been finding there's less disease transmission if you actually prune it in the summer. So the idea is to prune in the summer for growth, and to prune in the winter for directing that growth. So if it's growing too much, you prune it in the summer. If you want to direct a growth in a certain direction, or you want it to grow more in a certain area, then you prune it in the winter. So that is the gist of advice I have been given. Now, in Gilroy, we have something that's called peach leaf curl. It's in the neighborhood. It will always be in the neighborhood. And to deal with that, you generally deal with copper. And you do 3 different sprayings of it in the winter and when it does not have leaves on it. And basically, it's a fungus that lives on the leaf buds, and I didn't spray this year because we had rain. Every time I had time to do it, we had rain, and you don't want to do it in the rain because it doesn't do anything, it just washes off. So with this, it's a really good idea to actually do that if you have peach leaf curl. It's a good idea to do it. Now, this tree, despite having that, is actually a very healthy tree. It's very vigorous. Other years where I have not gotten to that because of rain, the peaches have been pretty low quality. Now, these peaches right now, of course, I didn't thin either. Lessons learned. Learn from what my mistakes are. They're pretty small right now. And usually when fruit is smaller than it usually is, it appears to be less sweet because there's more flesh, or there's less flesh to skin ratio. But these are actually pretty darn good. Desert Gold is a peach that it's good because it's early. It is just a peach. There are other peaches, such as the nectar peach that I have, that are absolutely wonderful and have very distinct flavors. Desert Gold is a good peach. It's good general peach. It's a peach that I generally make jams and jellies and can with, because if you add just a little bit of sugar to that, then it doesn't take much, then you'll get a good product. Whereas like the nectar peach, it's already sweet. You don't need to do any of that. But this is something that should be done, is to pick off some of the fruits and to trim the branches. So pruning and doing the thinning of the fruit earlier on. Right now it doesn't make sense to thin because they're already ripening. So, and it's a couple of weeks late this year. So we're having a later season this year. In fact, the cherry's already done. Usually this comes on about the same time as the cherries, sometimes before. So we're having a little bit of climate stuff. A question you may have, if you know anything about copper and what you're actually doing when you spray the copper is an antifungal. So it actually works, the copper itself, on the fungus, which causes the peach leaf curl. And so you don't want to overspray, because in general we have some good fungi and some bad fungi. We can call them not fungi and fungi. No, that doesn't work. And so the bad fungus is the peach leaf curl. You should have a lot of really, really, really good fungus in your garden, in your orchard, in your food forest. if you're doing things right. And that will come in many different forms, but one important one is mycorrhizae. And mycorrhizae is something that interconnects your plants and all of that. It grows in wood chips, it grows in the duff of the forest floor, and it is really important for your plants for nutrient pathways. So mycorrhizae it's not one type of fungus, it's a whole bunch of different types of fungi, and each different type has a connection with different types of plants. So like if you buy some to put it in your garden, then it says it has 10 different types or whatever. And in general, those garden type things they're good for tomatoes and cucumbers and squash and stuff like that. And you're going to have different ones for trees, and that really have a better relationship than for, say, tomatoes. So there's lots of different varieties, and they will come naturally to your area if you treat the soil right. So if you bring in wood chips, you're going to see that pretty immediately. You put it down, and then when you turn over a piece of your pathway, let's say wood chip pathway, you're going to see these white stringy things, and that is the mycorrhizae. Now they are so small, they can get in between the particles of the soil to get nutrients for the plants. They are so small, they are smaller than any roots, even the little tiny ones. So the roots can't reach where the mycorrhizae go. So if you have an established fungal network, that's really what it is. It's a network. It's awesome. In your orchard, in your food forest, in your, in the area you have your trees, you really should do, if you are spraying copper, you should spray it just on the tree. Yes, it's going to drip down. Yes, it is going to have some effect. If you have a healthy ecosystem, and if you have healthy fungal network, then that network can recover quickly. If, let's say I put a little too much there, and you might kill off some of it, but it will recover. So having healthy soil, having healthy networks and critters in there that are good is important for the health of your trees. I have noticed since I put in the wood chip pathway, I have noticed a huge increase in the health of my trees and in their resilience. So here we have really hot summers. We have winters that are mildly to heavily wet. The last couple of years have been really, really wet. Some years it doesn't get that wet. But what it does is it holds moisture. It's like a sponge. It holds that moisture in. So some trees you might not want it too close to the actual trunk. I do think I lost a bear's lime because of the wood chips, because I think it just stayed too wet. But if you have them away from the trunk and in an area that the roots are covered, then they're going to be absolutely amazing. Now, where do the roots go from your tree? So typically, it's going to vary from species to species. Typically, the critical roots, not all of the roots, the critical roots are within the drip line of the tree. So a drip line is the edge of the tree where water or fog would drip. So you look up, you see there's tree over here, there's not tree over here. Well, there's your drip line. And so that's going to be where most of it is. Now, with these types of trees, we trim them so much. So your critical roots are likely going to be past what your actual drip line is. I've had roots go for a very, very, very long distance. And since I've had the wood chips down, I find that they actually go up into the wood chips some of the time. And that's good because here we have clay soil. So they're getting up out of the soil a little bit. They have a little bit of a snorkel so they can breathe when it gets inundated, because clay holds water, moisture tremendously well, sometimes too well. It's positive and it's negative. And point being, if you have healthy soils and you have healthy functions and pathways and relationships with your plants, like between the plants with mycorrhizae and fungal network and all of that, your plants are going to be generally healthy, and like this desert gold, will be able to fight that peach leaf curl even though it has it. So you can see some of the leaves are effective, some of them aren't. It is a little yellowed. That is, I believe, because of the peach leaf curl. It has plenty of nutrients. It has lots of nutrients in the bark chip and the wood chip pathway and all that, and is doing really well. And for it to be able to put out this much fruit, that we have broken branches because I didn't prune, and for it to be good tasting fruit in a year that it was not sprayed with copper and it does have peach leaf curl, is really quite amazing. Now, here's another amazing thing. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money to get wonderful fruit trees. This fruit tree, this desert gold, I believe it was $6 from Grocery Outlet. Yes, Grocery Outlet. The grocery store my neighbor has termed Gross Out. She says, hey, you guys want to go to Gross Out? Each grocery outlet is individually owned, of course, and they have individually owned, different prices. And I did plant this quite a few years ago, but $6 for a tree, I'll take it. Yeah, the other one next to it, $6 for that tree, I'll take it. I wasn't planning on planting apples, because apples, they're good, but I don't eat a whole lot of them. Now I eat more applesauce now that I have apples. There's an apple tree in the back. I don't remember if it's a Fuji or a Gala, and it was $4. I could not pass up a $4 tree. Can you pass up a $4 tree? I don't think so. If you can, I don't know what's wrong with you. So I actually have that one, and I got another tree on the ugly plant sale, and it was $15.88, and those are my 2 apple trees. And I guarantee you I have eaten more than $20 worth of apples off of them. So get out there, get your plants planted, get your trees planted. The best time to plant a tree is as quick as possible. They say 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever. You can't do that. Best time to plant a tree is as soon as you can. Preferably not on the hottest day of the year, right? And if you have the opportunity to get some plants, like say in October, if you get some trees in October, that's about the time when nurseries are starting to clean out last year's plants and getting ready for the new bare roots. That's the time, okay? Mark it down in your calendar. I know it's the summertime. I know. Mark it down in October and say, in October, I'm gonna look at my local nursery and see if they have anything on sale. If they don't, I'm gonna ask them. Ask them if things are on sale. They might make a sale for you, because they have to get rid of those bare root trees that are no longer bare root because they've potted them up and they've been taking care of them for a year. Cheaper tree that's a year older? Yes, please. So that is what we do. Oh, my nectar peach was also $15.88 on the ugly plant sale. It's not ugly anymore. So I encourage you to grow things yourself. I guarantee you I've eaten plenty more than $6 of peaches off this tree. I think there's more than $100 worth of peaches on there. Probably more than $300 worth of peaches. It's wonderful. That's just 1 year. So thank you for watching. I kind of went off on tangent, but I hope that's okay with you. And thank you for watching. Hit the like if you liked it. So consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed already. And share it around, because everybody should be growing their food if they want to. And you should be growing food you enjoy, because yeah, it's delicious. It's delicious, guys. All right, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.